Every 4 years, the world goes into a full drama mode. Either watching a guy run faster than your Wi Fi
Oh, it's so close!
or crying over a penalty shootout. But behind the medals, the celebrations, the glory, there's a very real game going on, the money game. The Olympics and the FIFA World Cup may look like global celebrations of unity and talent, but the fact is, ये businesses हैं और इन businesses में पैसा बोलता है, emotions नहीं. Let's start with the basics. When a country hosts the Olympics or the FIFA World Cup, it's not just about building stadiums, it's about spending billions of dollars on transport, security, hotels, stadiums. Basically, ये एक पूरा नया शहर खड़ा कर देते हैं. The real money goes to FIFA or the Olympic Committee, the organizations that run these mega events. They collect billions from TV sales, sponsorship deals, and ticket sales, while the host countries are left out with unpaid bills and abandoned stadiums. Take the Olympics for example. Oxford University's research shows that every Olympics since 1960 has gone over budget. Not even once did anyone stay within their financial limits. अब आते हैं FIFA World Cup पे. Compared to the Olympics, इनकी financial situation थोड़ी less tragic है, but still no happy ending. Brazil hosted the 2014 World Cup and spent over $15 billion on stadiums that now just sit empty. One stadium in Manaus costed $300 million. However, it barely sees any matches. South Africa's 2010 World Cup cost over $3.6 billion and it did create a temporary buzz. But long-term economic gains were minimal. Only the World Cup of Russia 2018 showed a tiny surplus, but that was still after spending $11 billion. So basically, they won the match but lost the series. Then came Qatar 2022, the boss level event. Qatar spent an estimated $220 billion for the World Cup. That's not a typo. That's 22 plus 10 zeros. Most of the spending wasn't even for football directly. It was spent on highways, airports, and new cities. It was like playing SimCity in real life. According to the IMF, Qatar saw a short-term GDP boost of over 4% during the event. Tourism spiked and the country got major global attention. But was it worth it long-term? That's still a mystery. Qatar was aiming for global branding rather than profit, kind of like buying a Gucci belt for just one photo. The bigger problem isn't just the cost, it's the aftermath. Most of these stadiums turn into white elephants. Big, expensive structures that serve no real purpose post-event. And sometimes, hosting also displaces local communities, triggers protest, and increases public debt. Many locals feel left out because of the ticket pricing, events, and stadiums and new buildings. These are beneficial for tourists and elites rather than regular citizens. Still, there's one area where लोग argue करते हैं that these events are worth it. National pride. Hosting a global event makes the locals feel united, inspired, and noticed. Germany's 2006 World Cup actually increased public morale and unity. ये feelings GDP में नहीं show होती, but they do matter. It's like winning your school's annual sports day. The feeling is priceless. लेकिन ये बात भी सच है कि एक मेडल की खुशी से ज़्यादा महंगा एक 20 साल के स्टेडियम का मेंटेनेंस बिल होता है. In the end, the Olympics and the FIFA World Cup are super fun to watch, inspiring, and definitely a legendary moments for the athletes. But for the host countries, it's often like buying VIP concert tickets with your dad's credit card. Fun in the moment, but awkward later. That's why many experts now suggest using rotating hosts, which include multiple cities, or by using permanent venues. ताकि excitement हो, but bankruptcy ना हो. So the next time you're watching Messi lift a trophy or a gymnast doing a backflip, just remember, behind every gold medal, there's an expensive receipt.